communicate with the database now. According to the project, we will design database. But to work with the database, the question is, can your front-end application communicate with the back-end database? Any front-end cannot communicate with the back-end. For that, we need another server-side scripting. Actually, this is business layer. Already I told you 3 layers. So applications run in tiers and applications are built in layers. Applications run in 3 tiers: database tier, presentation tier, application tier. Applications are built in 3 layers: UI layer, business layer, and database layer, or data access layer, data layer. Data layer where we maintain all the database. And to communicate with the database, we need server-side scripting. Actually, server-side scripting is a technique used in web applications where scripts are deployed, you can say employed on server in order to generate a response customized to every client request. So server-side scripting is a technique used in web applications where we employ scripts on server so that they can generate a response customized for every client request. That means actually we have the database and we have application server, and this is the client. So we have client or user. JavaScript, jQuery, Angular, React, these are the scripts employed on client here. So what is the purpose of script client side? What is the purpose of script client side? The purpose of script client side is, the main purpose is to reduce burden on server. If anyone asks why we need client side script, the first point is to reduce burden on server and to reduce the round trips. That means every interaction should be managed by server. You made a request, it will go to server, it will process on the server, and it will send back to you. It will take time. If every work is given to server, it will take time. We can reduce burden on server by managing some interactions client side. That means we deploy some scripts on client computer so that they run on client computer. What is advantage of that? They will reduce the burden on the servers. So client side scripts are used to reduce burden on server and manage lot of client side interactions. So there is a drawback also. Because client-side script is JavaScript, jQuery. You can use frameworks, Angular, libraries like React. But what is the drawback is browser can disable client-side script. If in browser you disable JavaScript, React, Angular, jQuery, JavaScript, nothing will work. That is the reason in React, in index HTML page, you have a no script element. You saw na? In a index page, already in the beginning we designed it. In some interviews for freshers, they ask, if I disable JavaScript, will React work? If you disable JavaScript, no technology in the front end related to JavaScript will work. You have to enable JavaScript. Will CSS work? If I disable JavaScript, will CSS work? CSS also have some classes, interactions like hover, active. Will CSS work if JavaScript is disabled? If JavaScript is disabled, will CSS work? CSS will work because CSS is not translated by JavaScript translator. It is translated by a browser engine. In the beginning, I showed you browser architecture. Na? In the browser architecture, we have rendering engine, browser engine, JavaScript interpreter. So rendering engine, browser engines are responsible for translating HTML and CSS. JavaScript is translated by JavaScript interpreter. So client-side scripts will reduce the burden on server by handling several interactions client-side. But client-side script may be disabled in some occasions. If client-side script is disabled, then how you handle them? Then you have to manage the interaction server side. You need client-side rendering, you need server-side rendering. Actually, in React, because see, several people are new to web development. They are learning web development newly. That is the reason they may think like several topics of web are related to React. They are not related to React. They are general web topics. Any web technology usually uses it. You may be learning React like web technology first time. Then you may feel like it will be in part of React. But actually several topics are not just part of React. They are part of web. For example, state management, cookies, context, query string, every web technology have them. Java, .NET, PHP, Python, everybody have to use them. The way how they interact will be different here. That is only the concept. Concepts will be same. So server side interactions are managed by server side scripts. So what is the role of server side script? Handle the request from the client, process that request and generate a response and send the response. And actually it is now the scripts are employed on server. They are employed on server. So client makes a request, it will come to server. It will, if necessary, it will communicate with the database, get the data from the database and send the response to the client. So what is the job of client-side script? It will reduce burden on server. Majority interactions, it will manage clients. Actually, 5-8 years back, web development means 80% server side, 20% only client side. But now it reversed the ratio. 80% we are doing client side. That is the reason React, Angular, Vue, all these technologies are trending. Earlier we have jQuery, JavaScript, all these. So many other scripts also there. You may not know about them. Like we have CoffeeScript. Have you heard about CoffeeScript? CoffeeScript is one of the popular script in European countries. And they much use CoffeeScript. Knockout.js, Ember.js. These are all very popular before Angular and React because the ratio of client side increased. For that, best current available technologies are like React, Angular, Vue, and all. That's the reason they are trending. So, what is server side scripting? You put the scripts on server, manage the request and response, send a customized response to every client. That is the job of this server side script. Actually, CGI is the first server side scripting technology. So which uses C language. C is the language used for server side also. So I hope you people know why C was invented. No, you know the history of C language. Dennis Ridge, Ken Thompson, these people invented C as a language for an operating system called Unix. It was developed for a server called Server Operating System Unix. It was built for Unix. It was developed for Unix. So it was previously called as B language, BCPL, after that C. So the main purpose was to build the platform for operating system actually, to run servers actually. And the world's first server side scripting was done by using C language only. After that, so many other server side scripting languages. So other popular server side scripting technologies. So we have like PHP, JSP, ASP, ASP.NET. So many other server side technologies are there. The popular server side scripting technologies. The most popular in the web, out of 100, 80-90% of web you will see with PHP, JSP, and ASP.NET. ASP.NET. Majority. 80% of internet is with these popular ones. PHP is very popular. JSP, ASP, these are very popular. So these are server side scripting. Even today, several ASP is a very old one. It's 1990s. The advanced is ASP.NET, but still several websites are still in ASP on. 90s, it is very old 90s server side scripting. Do you know you regularly use websites like W3 schools? You know W3 schools? You see W3 schools, let's go to any location. It is ASP. It is using the server side technology ASP. It is very old server side technology. But modern tutorials, advanced everything, people use this website regularly. So it's a very old one. We have advanced it to this. So it's not necessary that everybody have to use advanced. That depends on the requirement. Still, these are important server side technologies. So what is the concept of server side scripting now? Actually, so now you are dealing with Node.js. Node.js. So technically, people have different understanding about Node.js. Some people call Node as server, but we should call it as server side scripting. right? Node is used to build server. It doesn't means that it is a server. It is used to build servers, server side interactions. So it is a server side. Actually, Node.js, it is an open source and cross-platform. So open source cross-platform technology built on Google Chrome V8 compiler. So it uses JavaScript as language. Actually, every server-side scripting requires a language. Remember, server-side scripting is not a language. Server-side scripting is a technology. What is meant by technology? A technology provides several tools for creating applications, maintaining applications, deploying applications. A technology means it's not a language. Many people misunderstand this. That means they think that PHP, JSP, these are just only languages. They are not languages. They are what? Technology. They use a language. I showed you ASP. ASP is not a language. ASP is a technology. ASP uses a language called VB, Visual Basic, right? So JSP is a technology. It uses Java as a language. It uses Java as language. So ASP.NET is a technology which uses C sharp as a language. These are the languages. So Node.js is a technology and it uses the language JavaScript. So that is the reason um, at school, college level, they will tell you that JavaScript is a client-side script. Many times you will see the definition. That is wrong. JavaScript is not a client-side script. JavaScript is a language. It is used server-side also. It is used in database also. It is used client-side also. Because people learn JavaScript majority with HTML. So that is the reason they use JavaScript client side with HTML. They may think like JavaScript is a client side script. Many times we hear this definition. If we ask what is JavaScript, many people give an answer like it is a client side script. Wrong. It is not a client side language which is used even server side also. Node.js like technologies use JavaScript server side. You should say it is a lightweight, JIT and interpreted compiled programming language. That is the JavaScript language. And it is not just client side, it is used server side also. Node.js uses JavaScript server side. This is the official. Already you installed Node.js now. Already you installed Node.js. This is Node.js. So you see JavaScript runtime environment that lets the developers to create servers, apps, command line tools, and scripts. That means developer can create servers with this. They can create web applications. They can create command line tools, CLIs. They can create command line tools. They can create scripts also, libraries. So it is a technology. Better you say as a technology, but in more technical terms means you can say Node.js is JavaScript runtime used by developers to create servers, web applications, What else? Command line tools, scripts, etc. So technically, it is a runtime environment. And what is the language used by Node.js? So Node.js uses the language JavaScript. And actually, Node.js have a lot of good advantages. That is the reason it is very good for certain type of apps, not for every type. Actual key features of Node.js. So Node.js is single threaded. Node.js is single threaded. It is asynchronous. It is asynchronous. It is modular. So it is lightweight. And faster. It is lightweight and faster. It is single threaded, asynchronous, modular, lightweight, and faster. It will not use buffering, or you can say it doesn't use, it will not use buffering. It will not use buffering. So actually majority of other technologies are multi-threaded. But Node.js is single-threaded, asynchronous, modular. So some key features are this. What is meant by single-threaded? The concept of single-threaded is actually, suppose we have a server. So we have server, okay? And in that server, we have some resource. We have some resource. Now, there are so many clients. We have a lot of clients. Now, all these clients have to access that resource. All the clients have to access the resource. The resource, assume that it is a video. All people have to watch the video live at a time. Or it is a song. All people wants to listen to it from the server live. Then what happens is when the first user connects, then server is going to create an object. Through that object, it will provide access to that resource. Now, when a second client connects, then server will create another object for that client. And through that, it will provide access. For every client, an object is created. Through that object, they will connect. This mechanism is actually called as, technically we call as single call mechanism. Single call mechanism is an object is created every time when a request is made. And that object is only for that request. That means when this person, number one person completed, this object is destroyed. If millions of people are trying to watch something, directly millions of objects are created, then it is huge burden to memory. Huge burden to memory. Imagine you might have faced this problem. For example, you are watching a cricket match on OTT platform, and live match you are watching. Suddenly at peak time, some these days 10 crore, 20 crore people are watching. Suddenly 1 crore people extra came. Then do you know the application fails? That means suddenly it stops for you. Suddenly it will not respond for you. Suddenly it becomes slow. Why? Because when load is increased, then the application is unable to handle that load. That is the reason, do you know, all OTT platforms, majority every OTT platform is built with Node.js, including YouTube. YouTube is also built with Node.js. YouTube is using Node.js in the backend, not JSP, Java, or .NET or Python or something. It is using Node.js. Node.js, one important is single threaded. That means an object is created for the first request. The same object will be used by all. This is called singleton pattern. Singleton mechanism means an object is created for the first request and same object is used across requests. That is the mechanism of singleton. We have single call mechanism and singleton mechanism. These are important things. So technically, when you are dealing with uh, several resources to access at a time live, then this looks better. But there is problem is, if millions of people are interacting, then this is single threaded is not a good idea. Here millions of people are doing what? They are just one way, like they are just watching. They are not doing much interaction. For example, Amazon like site, millions of people are interacting. They are querying, they are searching, they are doing some transactions. Then multi-threaded will be better. If it millions of people are just watching, they are just watching, they are not doing much interactions. Maximum interactions means what? They will pause the video, play the video, or move the video on the subtitles. This is not interaction, right? That means for the applications which are like audio, video streaming, for them, Node.js makes a good environment, very, very good environment. And that is the reason you might have seen no more buffering. Data is received in the form of packets. You see, when you used YouTube in the beginning days, do you know, few years back when we used to watch YouTube online, when you are watching YouTube, so suppose 1 hour video I have to watch, then what I can do? Play the video. It's playing. I can pause the video, go out, come back after 1 hour. I can see entire 1 hour video is buffered. Do you know, after that, without internet connection, I can watch the rest of video. Have you experienced that? Right? But now it is not there. Have you checked? Now it is not there. You pause the video, it will be there only. Just only 2-3 seconds or minutes, it will buffer and stop. Either you download and watch the video offline, or you watch the video live. No more buffering. I hope you have observed that. That is the nature of Node.js. And you know, it will not buffer anymore. Have you observed these days, majority of OTT platforms are anywhere, the video buffering reduced. They don't buffer. They change the quality of video if your internet is slow. They will change the quality of data received, but it will not stop. It will stop when it is unable to receive minimum data. Till that moment, early days, it used to buffer. You will see buffering like very much regularly, but now it will change the quality of the content and automatically it makes the data available to you at any speed. So this is one advantage of this. So asynchronous already we know. Modular means only what is needed for the situation is imported. Everything is not imported. Only what is required for that situation is imported. Everything is not imported. The opposite of modular is legacy. Legacy. For example, suppose already we know, if you remembered, we used MUI in a material UI. So in that, I want to use button. Then what I am doing, I am importing a library called MUI. MUI. So this is the library I am importing. But you want to use only button. Then why you are importing entire MUI? You can import just only button. That is modular. What is modular? You are importing only what is needed. If you are importing everything, but you are using only one or two, that is what legacy. Legacy. So libraries are modular. Earlier, we don't have much modular, but now all are modular. That means even technologies like .NET, Java, all these people, they change it to modular. Only what is needed, that will be loaded. Due to that, application becomes lightweight, application becomes fast. These are the some key features of these points. So Node.js is one server-side scripting and runtime which uses a language called JavaScript. Now, if Node.js is using a language JavaScript, you already know JavaScript. You already know JavaScript. Then what is there in Node.js you learn? Then what is Node.js about? For example, you are learning JSP. JSP uses a language called Java. You already know Java. Then what is there in JSP? That means what these server-side technologies have to learn, because they are using JavaScript as language. Already we know JavaScript. Then what else I should learn? Every server-side technology involves server-side objects. Learning a server-side technology is learning server-side objects. Server-side objects. So learning server-side technology is all about learning the server-side objects. So what are the server-side objects we have? Server-side objects, you know, we have a request object. We have a response object. So we have an application object. We have a session object. So we have a data objects, various types of objects will be there. Path object means in different technologies, different will be there. So OS object. I'm making the point about in Node.js, like technologies what they provide. So FS. So this is file system. OS is operating system. Like that. So many types of objects are present. So learning a server-side technology is all about learning the built-in objects they provide. Every server-side technology provides some built-in objects. By using those objects, we handle the communication between client and server. So learning JSP, learning Java is learning language. Learning C sharp is learning language. And learning JSP is learning the objects which are required for communicating with the database or with the server client. Same all server-side technologies. They completely depend on these objects. So request, response, we will use them. But one point is, can you tell what is the job of request object on the server? There will be a request object. What is its job? Its job is to request the data from the client. And where client data is present and from where it will request it. What is the type of data it will request? So server can request query string. Server can request form body. Server can request cookies. That means a server can request from client. It can request query string. So that whatever is in the URL, it can bring it. It can request the keys. It can request the form body. What response object can do? Response object will send response to client. Do you know in which format response will be? HTML response, XML response, JSON response, file response. These are different types of response. But what is the job of response object? To send response to client. Request object to get request data from client. That is how every object works. Application objects maintain application level data so that it is accessible to all sessions. Path object, session object, for every session individual data. Path object, it provides the properties and methods which are used to access the files locations. File location, folder location. OS object gets information about operating system. That means operating system information means, suppose somebody is uploading a file on server. They are uploading some file on server. So how much space is available? How much space it needs? How it will calculate? So for that we need to know the server capacity, server speed, server runtime environment, server capacity, everything we need to know, and that is given by which object? OS. So every object have a different work. Learning server side technology is all about learning the server side objects. Server side of. Let's see the important server objects of Node.js, right? So here we will see Node server objects. And here the key point is how to use Node. Already Node.js is installed. Already we installed Node.js on our PC. In the first day of setup itself, we done with Node.js. Node.js is already there. So here, Node.js server-side programs are written in JavaScript. So hence the file extension is .js. It is .js. And Node uses JavaScript server side. Hence, you have to use JavaScript only as language, not for DOM manipulation. You should not use any DOM manipulation here. You should use JavaScript only as language. Only as language means what? You should use JavaScript for variables. You should use it for data types, for operators, statements, functions, and OOP features you can use. You cannot use DOM methods. That means alert, prompt, document.write. DOM related anything will not work here, because DOM related any concept will work only when you are using with HTML, because HTML is presenting the DOM, and JavaScript is used server side means JavaScript language is used. You should use JavaScript only as language. Variables, data types, operators, statements, functions, all these are same. Only DOM methods will not work here. That means we cannot use alert, prompt, confirm, document write, get element by ID. All such things will not work, because it is not client side JavaScript, it is server side. DOM methods are all related to browser. They are all related to browser. But Node.js runs the programs. Yeah. Node.js can run programs, can run the script server side using CLI or REPL. REPL terminal. Using a CLI or REPL terminal. CLI is command line tool. CLI is a command line tool. And REPL is read, execute, print, loop. It is a REPL terminal. Actually, you don't need that. It is just like a console. Huh? You don't need this REPL, but for freshers in interviews, they ask. That is the reason you should know these terms, that Node have a REPL. REPL is nothing but it is a terminal from where developer can test the commands before implementing them. For example, where you test JavaScript commands before implementing them? In the console, browser console. Similarly, here we have a REPL. You can open REPL like this. In terminal, you can just type Node. Automatically, a REPL terminal will come. Here you can type your commands. Here you can test your commands. Open your command prompt and type Node and hit enter. Automatically a REPL terminal will come. Right. So open the command prompt. Anywhere in the command prompt, because you already installed Node, just type Node and Node terminal will come. In this Node terminal, what we have to do, you can run the commands. Commands, we have like so many commands are there. As I told you, like suppose var x is 10. So var y is 20. So var, so here z is equal to x plus y. Like this we are defining. And console.log, we have z. So we are just using this. Then it will show the result. That means we can perform all these operations here. we can test everything here. It is not required, just only name is enough. Huh? Control C 2 times to terminate that. We can use this like a shell command, shell scripts. We can try that, but not required. Usually what we do, whatever we want, we can put in a JavaScript file. So what you do, go to your project, suppose we have a React app, and in your project, what you do is add in the project, add a new folder. Suppose I am adding a new folder by name server. Just keep that server folder. Any name you can give. In that, add a new file, some server.js. So JavaScript file, and you write your code, all the Node.js code. How to write Node.js programs, I will show you. We will see. But temporarily, suppose I am writing console.log. So welcome to Node.js. And here I am executing this open in terminal. That location you have to open in terminal, server location. And here how to compile node server.js. Node is a compiler. Through that you can compile this. You can use Babel compiler also for Node.js, but Node already have a Node compiler. You can use it and hit enter. It will show the result and display that. You cannot use any document write alert like commands here. Only console related methods here we need to define. So the key point here is generally Node.js server side programs are written in a JavaScript file and they are compiled and executed. Node is used for creating servers, creating web applications. How I will show you how to create a server, how to create the web applications. We will see that how Node.js works. Let's see. So first important is here example I will just give. First, go to your project and add a new folder server. Add server.js into folder. With just console.log, we are having a message, welcome to Node. After that, open file location in terminal. Then you have to just use node server.js. That is the basic process. So now, what is the job of Node.js? The job of Node.js is to create a server so that it can handle communication. Actually, what you done in React? In React, you created a React application. So when you created React application, how you run that React application? To run React application, you are using command npm start. Do you know what is happening in the background? When you run npm start, a server is created by Webpack. I already told you npx means it uses a bundling tool called Webpack. What happens is Webpack will create a server with the help of Node.js. Means in the background, by using Node.js, a server is created. In that server, it will load your app, which is in the port number 3000. In that server, it will load your app. and it will start your app. That means a server is created and your app is loaded and it is shown to you. You may be thinking React application is directly working. No web application in the world directly works. Every web application have to work with a server only. Then where you created server? You haven't created any server, but server is internally created and your app is hosted on the server and you are watching it. How to create servers by ourselves, we will see. We can create server. That means later we will learn how to build a complete React application from scratch. We will not use a template like NPX. We will build our own app, all settings our own. There you have to create your own server also. How Node.js will create a server, how it will handle everything. Actually, see, let's see that concept now. This is a general program, right? Now, how to create a server? How do we manage the server? So, creating server with the node. That is what Node.js people have given. Like we are good for developing servers, creating servers, building web apps. So, creating command line tools. How to create a server with node? So, first point is node provides HTTP object. HTTP object. HTTP is a server object. It is a server object. It provides a set of properties and methods that are used to create and configure server. That are used to create and configure server. So we have client side objects, server side objects. You know, JavaScript have client side objects. What are JavaScript client side objects? JavaScript client side objects, two types are there. BOM objects, DOM objects. BOM objects means what? Window, location, navigator, history, document. You learn now. Window object, location object, navigator object, history object. These are client side objects. Similarly, server side objects also. So client side, how you know the server name, IP address, and all such things? We have a object called navigator. By using navigator object, we can know that. Similarly, server side, we have some objects. And servers are created by using an object called HTTP. Actually, web servers are called HTTP servers. A web server is HTTP server. Technically, web servers are called HTTP. What is the job of these servers? You can host an app and you can handle the request and response. Let's see how do we do that. So, first in this, we have to import. And actually, Node.js uses a module system where the library is imported by using require method. By using require method, we import library. Require which one? I have to import HTTP. That is the module. And an object for HTTP module, we have to create. So where HTTP is equal to, you have to import the module. What is this HTTP? It is an object created for this module. So by using require method, you can import the module. Actually, we use import keyword. that depends on module system. Node.js uses a common JS module system where we import library, any class we can import by using this require. So you see HTTP is a module. HTTP is a module. You are importing that HTTP module and what is the object name? HTTP. Through this HTTP object, we can create server. HTTP object provides a method called create server. And this server will use a callback function. You can write a callback function in this way. We can define a callback function. And this callback function is going to have two objects. Actually, this function is having two objects. This function is having two objects. One is request, another one response. We have two objects, request and response object. Request is, you know already, it will fetch the data from the client. That means collect the query string, collect the cookies, collect the form body from the client. Response, send response to the client. So we will send a response, response dot end, response dot write, or response dot send. We have response dot send and all. Currently, we will use response dot write. What it should send as response? It should send a response like welcome to Node.js. Server started. This is a server response ready, something like this. Now, this is the server we created, and the server is currently handling only one response. And that is nothing but it is sending welcome to Node.js as a response. Now, you created a server, but after creating the server need to start. Already you saw MongoDB server. There is a MongoDB server. Without starting, how you can use it? You have to start the server. And starting the server is nothing but we have a listen option. That means this server is created. So after server is created, it has to use listen. Server